All right, ladies and gents, it's time to go. So today's session, today's session is a night session. We're going to do some CPEA exams, but we're sticking to the maths, of course, because, I am a whole maths teacher. So CPEA, a lot of our viewers will be doing that exam. Can you just write the name of your country here? Depending on the country, you may be doing SEA, PEP, NGSA, CPEA. So those are the four that we really focus on from the student point of view, and that covers most of the Caribbean. Trinidad, SEA, Guyana, NGSA, Jamaica, PEP, Grenada, and a bunch of others, CPEA, St. Lucia, and a few others. I'll list all the countries just now. So we're just jumping into it. Now, it doesn't matter what country you're from. This is a nice little revision session for you because we're just doing the math exam component of CPEA, which is about 50 multiple choice questions. So we're going to do it in a speed run. Where y'all for? Can we do it as a speed run? Let me see if I can present my screen. Can you present your screen, please, sir? There we go. So where's my pencil? I probably should have gotten these things before I started the live. Oh no, I hope my son didn't come in here and take my pencil. Oh there. I find it. All right, whew, that's scary. So you all see my screen? Yeah, we see your screen. So I visited a lot of schools in the last 2 months. Some of you all right here, you all would have seen me in your primary school, giving you some encouragement for the exam. Everybody is saying, let's do the speed run. So we'll do it as a speed run. Before we do the speed run, let's look at some of the comments that was left on the last video. That cow is slaying, sir. You all remember this? You all remember the cow I drew from the last video? Maybe we can have a drawing break again. Maybe we'll see. Shout out to Blue. Shout out to Natalia. You're the best teacher ever. Oh, thank you. Love and blessings. Love and blessings. So thanks so much for all the questions you have done. It has helped me improve my past papers. Sometimes I stumble upon a question that you showed me and my teacher hasn't shown, and I remember it from your videos. I wish you were my teacher, Caps, and my classmate, aka my BFF, best friend forever, watches your videos also and says how much it helps out to understand sums. You're a lifesaver. By the way, my birthday is the 28th of this month on a Friday. Can you please shout me out on your live? So shout out to Jamisa Richards. Big shout out. So you're the best. Shout out to Ijaz and Renice. You missed class. I was in church. Most of the times I'm doing these classes, I am coming straight from church. That's why sometimes you see me in shirts and stuff. I just run home from church and start. 70 out of 75, so we're in the 70s. Everybody loves to see 70s out of the 75. Those of you all who do in SEA, you know what I'm talking about. Blessings to Milan and Sheldon and Natty and Jemiah, and guys, I have to apologize for this. This formula booklet was supposed to be ready now, but we don't have it ready yet. And it caught us off guard. It sold out so fast. And we printed thousands of copies, but it sold out. So we will have it ready for the next batch of Form 5 students. I'm so sorry that I couldn't pull it for this batch. I know most of you all have it. Most students may have it already, but those who weren't able to get it. And this time we'll try to print a lot more. So we're ready to go. What countries do we have CPEA in? Are you all ready? If you're ready, type ready. So these are the countries, and we know we have lots of people from Grenada here. Anybody from Grenada? If you're from Grenada, say me. We have St. Lucia, we have Dominica, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Did I really skip St. Vincent like that? Let's check back and go to St. Vincent before my Vinci people start attacking me. I have some family in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Anguilla, Montserrat. So yeah, this is generally the countries that do CPEA. Every year there seems to be one or two others that's added on. I'm not sure if this is fully up to date, so I think this is it. If there's any other country Sorry for forgetting. I wasn't informed. So the value of the twinning number 325,694, 325,694. By the way, this is a speed run. In speed runs, I don't really wait to read your answer that much, so we just keep pumping. We reach very late in the series. This is like the 11th video in the series. Anybody else here 11 times, or you watch all 11? That is B, 20,000. Now notice in this exam, there are three choices. A prime number greater than 21 and less than 28. So you're looking for a prime number between 21 and 28. It's not 25. Also not 27. This is divisible by 3. This is divisible by 5. The answer is A, 23. So we keep pumping. The number is multiplied by 2, and then 6 is added to the answer. The final answer is 20. So we multiply by 2, then we add 6, and then we get 20. What is the initial number? So to go backwards, we need to subtract 6, divide by 2. So we subtract 6, 20 minus 6 is 14. Then we need to divide 2. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. So 7. We can also try putting in these numbers to see which one works. That's called peta or seta. Substitute in the answer. So 7 times 2 plus 6 is 20. It works. The number 7 numbers, plural. 7.7, 0.77, 7.07, and 77 arranged in ascending order, or descending, sorry. 77 will go first, then the 7.7. So looking like A. Then 7.07, and then 0.77. Our goal is to keep more numbers in the higher place values, so we can get the biggest numbers first. That's numeration, easy stuff. Grace has some books. She received 7 more books. She now has 25 books. Which number sentence best represents this information? She has some books. She receives 7 more books, and now she is equal to 25. So she has some books, got 7 more, and now 25. So the best thing is C. Love that question. Very simple, very neat, but tests if you understand number sentences. There are 25 fewer erasers than pencils in a box. There are 264 pencils in the box. How many erasers? 25 fewer. So far, nothing so hard, right? Nothing. Everything, it looks nice and dandy. 5 minus 2 is 3. 2, 3, 9. Every time I say nothing so hard, real easy, then some kind of scary thing will happen. Did I do so? There are 25 fewer erasers than pencils in the box. Fewer erasers. Erasers are less. Pencils are more. Pencils are more. So erasers are less, pencils are more. So the answer is A. Yeah, so I had to double check my answer anytime I say easy, because then all of a sudden I'll be bouncing my two. Light P flashes every 2 minutes, light Q every 3 minutes. So this is a LCM question. I can smell it already. Anytime you see these lights blinking, and when is the next time they're going to flash together? Boom, that LCM question. So what's the LCM of 2 and 3? Sorry, I said the answer. The lowest common multiple of 2 and 3 is 6. Now, that's not the final answer. We need to add 6 minutes to this time. So if we add 6 minutes to this time, 6 add 6. Of course, we'll get 6:06. This is the next time they'll flash together. You can visualize it as... excuse me, both of them flashed at 6. That's light P and light Q. But light Q flashes every 3 minutes. So it'll flash at 6:03, it'll flash at 6:06. This one will flash at 6:02, then 6:04, then boom, it will flash at 6:06. Every 2 minutes, this one is flashing. So the next time both of them will flash together is at 6 minutes past 6. So very, very nice questions, very simple questions, testing all the different things. K has 100 beads. Now, I don't expect the full contingent today. We just have a few countries who do CPEA, and their population won't be as big as Trinidad, Jamaica, and Guyana. So yeah, guys, what I'm saying, I see somebody say they don't understand. These questions are really asking for LCM. Every time something is going at a given interval and another thing is at a different interval, and the next time they coincide, LCM. I want your brain to immediately think about LCM. Or if I'm not going too slow for a speed run, let me speed it up. K has 100 beads. She plans to make 6 necklaces. Each necklace use 30 beads. How many more beads does she need? If she want to make 6, so she needs 30 times 6, which is 180, right? And she has, so far, she has 100. So the need is 180 minus 100 is 80 more beads. Why we do these questions feel like a warm-up. The smallest number of sweets that can be put into a bag, each holding 6, 8, and 12 sweets is now, is this LCM or is this supposed to be HCF? I'm not seeing an HCF answer. So let me see if I read the question and I can understand it a little better. The smallest number of sweets that could be put into bags. So I guess it's multiple bags. Bags plural, right? So multiple bags holding 6, 8, or 12. The smallest number of sweets that can be put into bags. I guess they mean both. I'm thinking they mean LCM, but the question is phrased really badly. I think they mean that you could get 4 bags of 6, 3 bags of 8, and 2 bags of 12. That's the smallest number of sweets that can hold in either 6 or either 8 or either the 12 bag. So the answer is B. It's an LCM question again, although it's a little badly phrased. What fraction must be added to a quarter in order to get 3 eighths? Now, a quarter is the same as 2 eighths. So to go from 2 eighths to 3 eighths, obviously, we're going to need 1 more 8. So that's 1 8. Knowing your fraction family really helps here. So it will be easy squeezy, easy peasy, easy, lazy, peasy. Some kind of easy for you. The sum of 3/4 and 1/6. Well, let's do this the LCM route. Let's draw a big line here. Find the LCM of 4 and 6 is 12. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So 3 times 3 is 9. 6 goes into 12 2 times, so 2 times 1 is 2. Add it all up, and we get a nice looking 11 over 12. That's B. What do you all think of these first 11 questions so far? 11 question, 11 over 12. 11 over 12 makes sense because the next question is going to be 12. If 3 over 5 is equal to 18 over x. So we've seen a little bit of algebra here, but you don't need to pull out any algebra tricks. You can just use comparing and use equivalent fraction idea. 3 multiplied by what number gives us 18? We can see that the factor that we are using is 6. So 5 times 6 is 30. So the missing number is none other than the beautiful looking number 30. A swimming pool is 50 meters long. Kaylee swam 4 3/5 laps of the pool. Mackay 3 laps. How many more meters did Kaylee swim than Mackay? This is how it's long. I will check it as 1 lap. Technically, a lap on a pool would mean going up and down. So I'll see if they have an answer for up and down. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Nah, they do have an answer for up and down. So once again, a badly written question. You have to be very particular how you're writing these questions. A lap on a pool would mean, a lap means you reach back to your starting point. You made a lap. So the lap on the pool may be up and down. I'm not a national swimmer. Maybe some of these swimmers can tell me if that is true. But generally speaking, I think a lap would be up and down, right? But anyhow, so it seems like they mean a lap is 50 meters. So the difference between 4 and 3/5 minus 3 is 1 and 3/5. So that's very easy to see. You just add 1 and 3/5 to get to there. So 1 and 3/5. So 1, let's do it separately. 1 times 50 is 50 plus the 3/5 of the 50. 3/5 times 50 is 30. So we basically want 50 plus 30, 80. Now, why did I multiply the 1 and 3/5 by the 50? Because every lap, supposedly, every lap is 50. So 1 and 3/5 of a lap is actually 80. So the answer is 80. A fish contains 360 liters of water when it's 60% full. How many liters of water can the pond hold when it's completely full? We're going to write 60% as a fraction. So 60% as a fraction is 2/5, and we write 2/5 represent 360, not 2/5, 3/5. 3/5 represent 360. So the whole is found by reciprocating the fraction. So the 5 will go on top. 3 goes into 36 12 times, so that's 120. And 120 times 5 is 600. So the answer is C. We can also double check the answer by finding 60% of 600, which is 3/5 of 600, and seeing if we get 360. 5 will go into this 12 times, 120 times 3, and we get back the answers like you're going reverse. A bakery recipe requires 5/8 pounds of sugar to bake 8 cupcakes. How many pounds of sugar are required for 24 cupcakes? Well, 8 cupcakes, 24 cupcakes, the ratio is actually, or the factor 24 divided by 8 is 3 times. So we need 3 times the amount of sugar. So the sugar needed would be 3 times 5/8. 3 times 5/8 is 15/8, which is very close to 16/8, which is 2. So 15/8 is 1 7/8, not 1 8/8. Very close. So B. And we go in good. We're cooking at Ramco gas. David had $90. He spent 1/3 of money on groceries and gave the remainder to his friend. So $90, and he spent 1/3 of the money on groceries. How much money did he give his friend? Well, if he gave the remainder to his friend, he gave 2/3 to his friend. So really, I'm trying to find 2/3 for the friend. For the friend, I'm trying to find 2/3 of 90. Of could be replaced by multiply. 3 goes into 90, 30 times. 2 times 30 is 60. Now, this is something you can do mentally, because 1/3 of 90 is 30. Come on. Easy things, easy things. Your recipe states that 1 teaspoon of oil is equivalent to 1/20th of a cup. How many teaspoons of oil are needed to make 3/4 of a cup? So let's change 3/4 into 20ths. 3/4 into 20ths. So 4 multiplied by 5. So we'll have to multiply this by 5. So 15/20. 15/20. Now, 1/20 represents 1 cup. And 15/20 represents 3/4 of a cup. You understand? 1/20, sorry, is 1, I shouldn't say cup, 1 teaspoon. And this is a 3/4 cup. How many times will 120 go into 15/20? Of course, obviously, it's going to be 15. So not a bad question at all. A lot of these questions are testing your knowledge of fractions. So like, look, fraction, decimal, fraction. Right through, percentage, fraction, percentage, decimal. They can't give you a chance. What is easy stuff? What is the product of 0.08 by 6? So now we're doing a little multiplication here. So 6 4s are 6 8s are 48. 3 8s are 24. 6 8s are 48. Now let's see how much time the decimal point needs to move. 1 2. 1 2. We're gonna set you up right there, my brother. Put a little 0 on you there, and that answer is A. 75% is 3/4. So 3/4 of 80. Of could be replaced by multiply, and we can work it out just so. 4 goes into 80 20 times. 4 goes into 8 2 times. 20 times 3 is 60. So 60. And just like that, we're getting up to reach number 20. Hold on. I'll get B for 19. I finally stick it. I thought I'll say I'll keep it up with me on the speed run. Keep up with me. All right, good. If 25% of 50, 25% of a number is 50, what is 35% of the same number? So 25% represents 1/4. So if a quarter of a number is 50, the whole will simply be 50 times 4, 50 times the inverse of a quarter, which is 200. You can do this mentally. So we want 35% of 200, which is 70. I know it's 70 because 35% of 100 is 35. And if it's 200, you multiply 35 by 2. You all can do all the work in here. You could go and write 35 over 100 multiplied by 200, and we'll get out. You'll see how very quickly you'll get to 70. 21. Of the 90 flights which landed in Piaco Airport on Monday, 36 of them came from North America. What percentage of flight did not come from North America? So 36 came from North America. So 90 minus 36 did not come. Not from North America. So that's US and Canada and stuff like that, right? So cross, I want to put 80 and 4 there for 40 mile. Why did I put 4 there? 1 there. So 10 minus 6 is 4. Oh, I see 10 minus 6 and I think 4 in my mind. A short circuit in here. 8 minus 3 is 5. So we get 54. So 54 out of 90 as a percentage. We're going to work out 54 as a percentage. So I just go in and circle C because it's more than half. And none of these are more than half. You understand? So 9 to the 6, 6 by 10 is 60. So yeah, this has to be 60. 60 is really one that making sense here. A class has 15 girls and 20 boys. The ratio of girls to boys. So you divide by 5. And you get 3 to 5 into that 4. 3 to 4 is the answer. All right. 23, the clock below shows the time. 3:25, and they want us to add 40 minutes to that. So let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So we can see that it will go into the next hour, which is 4. So you'll get 4:05 p.m. Excellent. Let's keep rolling, or you could just add. We've done a bunch of this before. Get 65 here, and then you subtract 60. Get 5 here. This 60 that you subtract goes there. So you get 405. Study the information below. $70 is equal to 2 times 20 plus something times 10. Why they give it so weird? This is very weird. So instead of distributing it by some kind of normal distribution and giving some like 7 and 8 here, and then you have to find the 7 and 8 there, they decided to do it like this. Well, that's easy. We'll say 2 times 20 is actually secretly trying to be 40. So 70 is equal to 40 plus something times 10. What times 10, boy? What could it be? What could it be? so it's 3. The answer is 3. So 70 minus 40 is actually 30. And we know that that box times 10 must be equal to that missing 30. So it has to be 3 times 10. Or you could say 30 divided by 10 is 3. The diagram below represents 2 containers. One is 3 liters, one is 500 milliliters. How many of Q will it take to fill P? Well, 500 is like half. So half, 6. The only answer that really makes sense anyhow. So 500 milliliters. This is like 3,000 milliliters. So 3,000 divided by 500 is 6. The playground is to be enclosed by a wire fence if one side requires 20 meters. How much wire is? No. The CPEA questions is cake and ice cream, bro. So 20 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What type of figure is this, boy? So 20 times 8. They're the only answer that makes sense. Just let me read it. I find that was too easy. The playground is to be enclosed by a wire fence if one side requires 13. One side, how much wires? Nah, too easy. The perimeter. Time to move to Grenada. Time to move to Grenada, right? CPEA. The perimeter. But there's another component to CPEA. There's a in-school component, and that could be a little miserable. The perimeter of a square is 12 centimeters, which is the area. 12, the area, side by side, 12 times 12, 144. So they're asking very straightforward questions here, very straightforward. The only thing you can do is make a mistake. In which of the diagrams below is the dotted line not a symmetry? What is this? This is a symmetry, but what is this? See nice symmetrical things here. Flip over, line right there, boom. Flip over, line right there. But what is this? This is not a line of symmetry. If this folds, it will fold like this and make a kind of weird looking something, bow tie or something. So answer is E. So the following best represents an obtuse angle, E. So I'm not going to spend no time on that, bro. A park has a square playground and a... Whoop, did I make a mistake? Oh, they said the perimeter. I said this side. Okay, so I made a mistake. You see, the only thing I can do is make a mistake. You have to read your questions carefully. The perimeter, not the side, the perimeter. My apologies earlier. I humbly apologize to everybody involved, including the square. So the perimeter of the square is 12. So if the perimeter is 12, you actually need to divide by 4 to get one side. So one side is 3. So one side is actually 3. And they had my wrong answer waiting for me there. So very, very clever, very clever. So area is equal to 3 times 3, which is 9 cm squared. So in centimeters squared, so 9 cm squared. So yeah, speed runs is this is happening in the speed run. That doesn't be reading the thing properly. So the perimeter. So I'm gonna pay a little more attention to our reading. The people making me get overconfident. So a park has a square playground and a garden section. So I'm supposing the garden section is the non. Keisha. Sir, give Miss Khadija Paul a raise for her kindness. Khadija, you paying these children to ask for raise. Is Miss Samantha? Hey, I wanted Miss Samantha them to pop in this week. Then remind me. Samantha, they had to remind me. And some people in the chat saying faster, faster. You know them people who like fast music? Nah, faster, faster, faster. Faster. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. We had to get Miss Samantha and Miss Celine next week. Next week is our last week and we're coming down to the end. Okay, the length. Let's read this question carefully. Let's start over because I went on a little tangent there. Square playground. Something in making sense here. Square playground. Well, then it's not square playground. It's a rectangular playground. Let's help me understand what's going on in this question. Why did they say a square playground and then they have 5 by 4 rectangular space? I think the park is the square, so that has to be a typo. Anybody could let me know if there's a typo? What really happening here? The remaining area is used to. So the playground inside the park and the remaining area is used to plant flowers and things. All right, so let's see what I want. What is the area designated for flowers? So total is 10 side by side, which is 10 squared, which is 100. And the playground, playground. Hey, playground, what playground? I was trying to remember the name of the bag, playground bag, and I say playground. Length by width. So this is 5 by 4, 20. So missing is 100 minus the 20. So that has to go to the flowers, 80 for the flowers. 80 square meters, 80 it is. So this question slowed me down a little bit because it was kind of sus. It's kind of sus. 31. Sarah had a total of $120 in her wallet. She bought 3 candies, each costing 25 cents. How much money does she have left? So 3 times 25 is 75. This is a fact. This guy can tell you that. He knows that. Left. So we back to these decimals and subtraction and thing. We back to the easy thing. And don't get too overconfident. And just stay with me. So this is 45 cents. When we subtract, good. 31C If the clock pictured above is 20 minutes slow, what is the correct time? So we need to speed it up 20 minutes, 5, 10, 15, 20. So this hand is actually supposed to be pointing over there. This would move a little bit. So the time is actually 5:25. Or we can say the time is 5:05 now and add 20 to it and get 5:25. It's slow, so it should be further ahead. Mr. Johnson exchanges $60 for EC 60 US. How much money will you receive? So one is 270, so 60 is 270 times 60. So we're really concerned about the 6, to be honest. The 0 is 0. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 7 is 242. 4 goes there. 6 times 2 is 12 plus 4, 16. So again, 162. I'm going to have to bring across some decimal places. Bang, bang, 1, 2 times. So 162. Answer is B. Let's keep rolling. The difference in time between 8:20 a.m. to 2:05 p.m. So there's a few ways to do this. I can think of the 12 as the mid-mark and say this is 2 hours and 5 minutes this way. And this way in the reverse direction is 3 hours and 40 minutes, and I can add the 2 together. So when I add the 2 together, I get 5 hours and 45 minutes, which is A. So that's a kind of mental way to do it. I know there are some of you all who understand perfectly what I was saying there. But the structured way to do it is to change this to the 12-hour clock. And we do that by adding 12. So 12 plus 205, so that's 1405. Now, keep in mind, this is the speed run. This is like the 11th session like this. So I'm expecting the students to be really good at understanding what we are doing right now. Exam is around the corner. And now I would be able to minus the 820, 205, right? I'm going to have to so-called borrow, but more like take 60 minutes here. So I have 60 plus 5 is 65 minus 20 is 45, and 13 minus 8 is 5. Notice when you bring across, it doesn't change 100, it changes to 60 minutes. Now, Marian is tiling a floor using square tiles that each measure 8 centimeters on each side. How many tiles does she need? Now, Marian is a she. Okay, writing it down. I know Lombarian to be a boy my whole life. All right. She needs to completely cover a floor with a length of 64 by 48. First, just let's check and make sure 8 can go into both of these numbers. All right. So we have an exact floor situation. So the total area is 64 times 48. I'm not going to bother to work out that. And the area of one tile is 8 times 8. So tiles needed, I need to divide the 2. So that's why I didn't bother to work it out, because I'm going to get some little reduction taking place here. See? Smart. So 8 goes into this 8 times. That's a square number. How many times does 8 go into 42? How many times does it go into 40? 5. 8 into 48. Whole 6, and 8 times 6 is back to 48 again. So our answer is B. Notice the nice move I make there. Or you notice the pro tips thing. Young King is pleased. I didn't bother to multiply the whole thing and leave it like that to save myself some time. Pro tips. All right, number 36. Emily bought 1 suitcase. It's 36 and the time is 1:34. I'm trying to not let the time beat what number on. All you think you can keep this? Have this little challenge to try and keep ahead of the time right now. See how I'm talking right now? The time crawling upon me. so let me get back into the question. Emily bought 1 suitcase for $80 and 5 identical travel bags. She bought 1 suitcase for $80 and 5. And this is the phrasing, and this is just crazy. She paid with 2. This is after. She paid with 2 $100 bills and 3 $20 and $45 each. So 2 times 100 is 200. 3 times 20 is 60. And the 3, yeah, and the total is 260. And the change is 260 minus 45. So minus change or remove change. This means the cost of everything was $215. 15.45 it looks like, so $215. But we know $80 was spent on a suitcase, so we have to remove the suitcase as well. So if we remove the suitcase as well, we get 125. No, we get 145. No. Yeah, 145. I'm trying to see this mentally. Is it 35 or 45? Is it 35 or 45? 5, 8. It's 35. 135. 135. I'll let my mind freezing. Forgive me. So we need to see how many times 5 will go into 135. This is the money spent. So remove suitcase. This is the money spent on actual travel bags we just got out here. So 5 bags called 135. 1 bag is 135 divided by 5. 5 goes into 13. 2 times remain that 3, 27. $27 for 1 bag, and we move to 37. Triangle is best described as an isosceles triangle. 2 sides equal, 2 angles equal. 38, the factory worker earns $437.50. After working 12.5 hours, how much was he paid per hour? Well, we're assuming he is paid for 12.5 hours. Right? We're assuming that. So what is the strategy for this question? What is the strategy? I know what is the best strategy for this question. I'm going to take this number, which is the easiest number to work with, and multiply it by 12. So I'm going to say 35 times 12. Will you understand what I'm going to do? 35 times 12 is 420, and then I'm going to find half of 35. That's like 34 divided by 2 is 17, so half of 35 is 17.5, and I'm going to add it to 420. So 420 plus 17.5 is 437.5, and that's the answer. So I multiply by 12.5, and I got the answer. So I know this is 35. That was the fastest thing to do. The other option would be to divide this by 12.5, and that wasn't looking too attractive to me. I don't know about earlier, but I was just looking like I don't want to do that. A container holds 36 liters of juice. Due to the spillage, 15% of the juice is lost during transfer. If cup holds, I'm going to start over as reading the comments. I get distracted. 36 liters of juice due to the spillage, 15% of the, that's real plenty juice enough. 15% of the juice is lost during transfer. If each cup holds 250 milliliters, how many cups can be filled with the remaining juice? So 15% was lost. So let's work out what is 15% as a fraction. 15% of 336. 5 into this 3. 5 into this is 20. We can definitely do a 2 into this. How about a 2 into that 10? I'll do a 2. Here's what I'll do, a 2. And 2 into 36 is 18. I'll do the 3 times the 18 now, which seems like 54 to me. 3, 8, 24. Yes, 54. 54 divided by 10 is a nice 5.4. So it's 5.4 is missing. 5.4 liters is missing. So that is 5,400. 5,400 milliliters. And let's take that away from 36,000 milliliters. 5400. Ooh, this question actually has some work to do with it, boy. 5, 10, 600. 30,600, and we want to divide this by 250. We want to divide this by 250. So we have 3060 0. Divided by 250 cross. So it's how much times 25 goes into that? I'm not getting a whole number, so that I make a mistake somewhere. Oh boy, we have to dive back in this question again. 15% of the juice is lost during transfer. 15%, 5 into this 3, 5 into this 20, 2, 18, 3, 54, 5.5, 5400, 5400 divided by 250. Oh, well, I'm not supposed to get a whole number. I'm not supposed to get a whole number. Maybe this is just how it's supposed to be. So 25 will go into 3,000 how much times? How much times will 25 go into 3,000? How much times does 25 go into 3,000? How much times does 100 go into 3,000? 30 times. So 30 times 4, 120. So we know 25 will go into 3,120 times. And we just have this 60, which is an extra 2. We can get 2 more out of this. You understand? We can't get anything other than that. So B. Everybody understand? The time pass. Oh no, 40 which are the following is not possible. A triangle has 3 acute angles. 3 acute angles. That is possible. A triangle has 1 right angle and 2 acute angles. That is possible. A triangle has 2 obtuse angles. Never, ever. Which of the following properties about a cube is true? Cube, we have 6 edges. No, 12 edges. 12 edges, 8 vertices, 6 faces. We catch back up there, Alia. You see, don't worry, Alia worried though. Alia worried. One of the acute acute angles measures 23. So if this is 90, this is 23, these are the 2 angles must add to 23. So missing angle must add to 90. So the missing angle is 90 minus 23, which is 67. 67 coconut Ramco gas. Somebody said I made a mistake. I don't think I made a mistake. Which of the line segments represents a chord? So PQ is a chord, EF is a chord, SR is a radius. PQ, EF. A chord is a line that joins one end of a circle to the next end of a circle. That's a chord, that's a chord, that's a chord. Where did we see this question before? The coordinates of a new point which will form a rhombus. To form a rhombus, we need to go right about here. So, there, and we have our perfect rhombus. And this point is 5 on the x and 6 on the y. 5 on the horizontal axis. It lines up to the 5. All the Minecraft people, all you know what I'm talking about one time. 5, 6, that's the coordinates. So 5, 6, the answer is C. We keep going. Now, those of you who are in SEL, you're probably getting a little worried watching this. This topic here is not in SEA, this plotting points. Jack scored a total of 60 runs in 3 games. What was his average? Well, we just divided 60 by 3. I divided it by mine already, and we get 20. Yes, lovely. Let's keep going. So the following statements not true about the park's layout. The walking paths W, X, and Y, Z parallel. The park has 4 lines of symmetry. That's not true. Who told you that? 2 lines. The length WY is equal to the length XZ. That's correct. So it actually only has 2 lines of symmetry. 47, we keep going. We are ahead of the time. In fact, we could give the time a little time to catch up. We could take a little stretch. It's 1:44. We cooking the Ramco gas. What do you think about the speed run? We make up a rule just now in the speed run that we have to keep ahead of the time. So like you see, the time is 1:44 and we on 47. You don't need to be worried. Somebody saying they're very worried. Come on. Okay, we have time to go and touch 5 blades of grass and come back. We have time to touch real grass. Anyhow, what is the modal shoe size? That's the one that's there the most. At the corner of my eye, 6 looks like it's there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But 8 is putting on some real good numbers here, boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 8 is actually winning. We're not even going to consider 7 in the stock. What is the difference? What is the difference in allowance between the people who gets the most and the least? That's you and you, Aria and T. So from 40 to in between 46 and 48 is 47. So from 47 to 40, that's $7. $7. So $7 is the difference. $7 is the difference between the one who gets the most and the one who gets the least. This is a nice warm-up paper. There's like 2 questions that took a little time, but other than that, speed. Zane plans to spend his allowance equally from Monday to Saturday. How much money will Zane spend per day? Monday to Saturday is 6 days. Inclusive, they should write inclusive here. So Monday to Saturday is 6 days. You're going to have to scroll back up and find Zane's money. He got 42. He got $42. So 42 divided by 6 is none other than the good old number 7 per day. What is the mean allowance of O'Malley, Aria, and T? One is 47, one is 40, and one is 45. So 45, 40, and 47. That's what we're being considered. That adds up to a total of 132. 5 and 7 is 12, 2, 1, 4, 3 is 12 plus 1 is 232. And we're going to divide that by 3 to get our nice little mean. Be mean with the mean. So if we divide this by 3, 3 goes into that 4 times, remainder 1, 3 into 12, 4. Answer is B. A lot of the answers are B. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this CPEA paper here. So this is a CPEA paper with some of the more troubling styles of questions that show up in CPEA. As you can see, it's by no means a difficult exam. Of the exams that we did so far, it's the easiest one compared to NGSA and SEA. So we went to what are the countries involved here, boy? Grenada, St. Vincent. Anybody from Grenada? All the Grenadian people say Grenada. Anybody from St. Vincent? Anybody from St. Lucia? And we have St. Lucia people here. I see St. Lucia, I see Grenada. I can't remember seeing any Montserrat. I see Montserrat when I'm doing CXE. I see all these countries when I'm doing CXE. St. Vincent, I just see a St. Vincent person. Grenada. Trinidad people are not here, but are asking about Grenada and St. Vincent and so I see St. Lucia in the dance, big up St. Lucia every time, St. Vincent, Sky Juice. Montserrat, somebody said it from Montserrat. I know we have lots of people from St. Lucia as a fact. I speak to some of them. So we have lots of people from St. Lucia and Grenada. I was speaking to a teacher from Grenada yesterday. I was speaking to a teacher from Grenada. We have Anguilla in the house. I just came from church. My pastor is actually from Dominica. So shout out to all the Dominicans, St. Kitts and Nevis as well. And there may be some of y'all who, if you're not here, you may watch it in the future. So I hope this helped. And you get to see some of the ideas that I use to solve the questions. I try to talk through everything I do, although I was racing through. It was a speed run. So you know what time it is. It's time for another shout out session. Dun, 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 dun. So we actually didn't have time to do a break today because I mean, come on, look at the time. We didn't bound for no break today. The time didn't even catch up yet. Where's my mouse? All right, let's see who my first catch bringing. I brought in Rian. What's up, Rian? What's up, Shelly and Afisha? Cosmic Garu, 94%, not bad. Trisha, that's pretty good. Vishal, Sachin, Aranella, King Silver, Candice, and Aranella. What's this? What's that about? Is that some inside joke? Jazara, what is up? So I'm seeing some people from Westfield prepping in Guyana, as well as Marian Academy in Guyana, Jordan and Sakari. What's up? I know these people. Jordan and Sakari are very brilliant and hardworking individuals. Jazara, Jidan, Lorna, Keely, Tion, Vidan, Every Time by Vidan, by Zara, Leah, Tariq. Yes, I did visit that school games, normal AME. I was there. I see somebody mention that in the chat. Zanaya, welcome to the shoutout board, as well as Jamaica. Feel like I said this name already. Ziva, Jaden, San Fernando Boys, Archie, Aria, Tevin, Leah, Jaden, Viana, and Kylie. Sophie Arampasad is begging me to draw a dinosaur. I see you, Sophie. But break his. Oh my gosh, I scrolled to a new page. Try to do more shout out, boy. I was now getting ready to go and sleep. Oh yes, boy. So yeah, oranges big them up. Oh yeah, so I did. If you go on the Student Hub Instagram, there's a video that we did for our crash courses. Crash courses are coming out. So if you have brothers or sisters about to do any exams, you can let them know. If you yourself want to join any one of the crash course, feel free. Guyana shout out Clark Rocad government or Rashad. Shout out to Starry, Alika, Viana, Rashad, Matthias, Makida, Ash Buddy, and St. Mary's got, hey, big up that school every time. What's so special about this school? Let's see if I can guess what's special about this school. St. Mary's Government Primary School. Actually, no, not that one. All right, wrong. That's not my school. Dynamo School. I thought that was my primary school there. I went to St. Mary's RC and then I went to St. Mary's Anglican. Shout out to Miss Subit, Anis, Janique, Emily, Kareem, Abigail, Baratari Anglican from Faith, Jaden, and next Jaden. You know, you have 400 Jadens here. Daniela. So the strawberry cow you drew last session, you could name her Strawella. A mixture of strawberry and Bella. Can I get a shout out? Strawella it is. Strawella. Hi, Ozara. You managed in. Hi, Luca Moore. I see you, but you're not supposed to be spamming like that. So I'm going to wait until I'm not seeing that Luca Moore spam. Come on, Luca. And plus, I shouted you out a few times already. Luca, what are you doing in the chat? So let's get the last set of shout outs coming in here. We have Janaya Bristol, we have Keelan, Emily, and Miracle. I feel like I see Miracle all the time. Vishal, me, who is T-Man. So me, please. Free Fire Legend shout out. Aria, Dan Miguel Hindu, Janessa, whoever that is, Strawberry. Hey, Strawberry Cow, is that you? Is that you in disguise? What is Strawberry Fish? Ranji, Husband, Gemma, and Adrian. Shout out to Miss Samantha's class. Shout out to Mr. Springer class. That's me. Shout out to Miss Celine's class. Shout out to Miss Cherie's Lucas class. All the SCA classes in the Student Hub. I wrote down some names from my class who stayed back late. Alex Xavier, what's up, Alex? Alex Xavier, what's up, Mr. Modest? Shout out to Alex Xavier, Daniel, and Alexa, who stayed back late. We don't have class today, Ty. We don't have any class today. Those of you all from my class, I'll see you on Friday. Nope. Yes, I'll see you on Friday. Love and blessing. Shout out to St. Ursula's, Nikita, Nichelle, Maria, Liam, Yvette, all of you guys. Thanks for joining me this Sunday. I hope you have a blessed week. Livy, who is crying right now, dry your tears. Look, I just shouted you out there. Nikita and Alika. Mrs. Polius and saying something, St. Ursula's girls, and Secret Heart and everything. All love and blessings. Enjoy the rest of all your Sunday. Take it easy out there. Don't let them overwork Alena. Tell them, say, don't overwork we. Yeah, a little sleep and a little relaxation and thing. But revise. You should be doing over the questions you got wrong.